الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jum'ah Mubarakah for everyone. And mashallah, it's good to see Sister Nadia. I would love to see your beautiful face and to see Sister Maryam and Sister Ziba. May Allah give us all and give you all the barakah of these blessed moments together, inshallah.
آمين. السلام عليكم.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today we're continuing with our series of the names of God. And we're going to, again, just pay attention to certain concepts as we go. And to God alone belongs all the beautiful names. To God alone belongs all the attributes of perfection. وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءِ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. Thus call upon him or invoke him with them. This is from Surah Al-A'raf. So now, last time we were looking at what is that concept of the names of God, the attributes of God, what does that mean? And we discussed part of that, what are those beautiful names? And then we went to, why is it going that fast? And then we went to the concept of how God has taught Adam all the names and what does that mean. And then we as Muslims have been exposed to the concept of the beautiful names of God. And some people say they call them 99, which means endless. Like 99 does not mean a number, it just means like endless in Arabic. And we are familiar with some of these names, what is, I love the name of God, Al-Wadud, the loving one, Al-Kareem, Al-Hakim, the wise, the generous, Al-Haq, the truth, Al-Wakil, the one that you give your matter in his hands, Al-Hamid, praiseworthy, Al-Wali, the protecting friend. All of these are names that we call upon and hear, and this is why we're here, because we all want to have a deeper connection with these names. We don't want just to read them as meanings, but we want to have a deeper connection with them. So then God gives us, the second part of this ayah is, so call upon him, invoke him with the name. So the first part is information. All these names belong to God alone. All these perfect attributes belongs to God alone. And this part, I think a lot of us within the Muslim community, by this age at least, our age, have been exposed to and have studied and have learned the meaning of. And what we're trying to do is to put the second part in practice, which is just call upon him or invoke him with these names. So now we get to this new concept, which is to invoke, to call upon. What does it mean? Because that's the part that we are trying, we want to take the names from mental knowledge into actual application. So that concept is a concept that we will be trying to sit with starting from today onwards. So I went and looked into the dictionaries. What does, the word invoke mean? In Merriam-Webster and other dictionaries. So, a lot of what was there in English was to petition, to ask for help or support, to appeal to authority, to call upon a deity, deity or spirit in prayer. But in Arabic, there was a whole list when I went to Al-Mu'jam al-Arabi, there was a whole list of what does it mean. Within that list, there was to call, to ask for it to arrive, to ask for it to arrive, to ask for help, to need, to invite. So a lot of that also was within that Arabic translation. So we can see, now, because we're trying to understand the second part. So as we're trying to understand the second part of what does it mean to call or, upon or invoke, so part of it now we're understanding with our first level is to ask, if I need something, to ask with these names of God. So this beautiful ayah in Surah Fatir, where God says that He has يولج الليل في النهار ويولج النهار في الليل, that He has entered the night gently into the day and He enters the day gently into the night. وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري لأجل مسمى, and He has subserved the sun and the moon, each running its course for a set term. And then God is saying, this is God, your Rabb. ذَلِكُمْ Allah Rabbukum. So the name that we're going through, the name Rabb. This is the Rabb who's like, who is in control of day and night, who has subserved, like, you know, the creation out there. Subserve it to whom? For you. Created the day and night for whom? To you. So God is saying, this is God, your Rabb. The relationship between the world out there and subserving it to you, this, the one who does that, is in control of the world out there and subserves it to you because He knows all of your need. That is God, your Rabb. And God continues in that ayah, Lahul Mulk. To Him alone belongs all dominions. He's the only one who's in control of everything. وَالَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ مَا يَمْلِكُونَ مِنْ قَطْمِيرٍ. And whoever you are calling upon and invoking besides Him or instead of Him, don't own anything, not even the husk of a date stone. So it's interesting because these are the dates, and these are, like, you know, the seeds or the stones inside the date. And the seed usually looks a little bit oval. And inside that seed, in that little pit, there is a tiny thin, look how thin it is, a tiny thin layer. So out of all of it there, they do not even, like, they don't even own this tiny thin layer that's inside the seed of the date that you eat. So God is telling us, if you need anything, who should you turn to? The one who has created the heavens and earth and subserved them to you? The one who has made the night gently go into the day and the day gently go into the night too, as subserving to you? Or would you call something that has no power over anything? So again, that concept of, because we're trying to apply this concept, what does it mean, فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا? What does it mean to invoke the names of God? So one of them is to ask. So if you want to ask, you know, that, who should you ask? If I want to say, God, I need sustenance, who should I ask? Should I be asking, going back to, like, you know, the ayah before, should I be asking God, or should I be asking my boss? Should I be asking, you know, God, or should I be asking my husband? Who? And when I receive, am I receiving from God, or am I receiving from my children? Am I receiving from God, or am I receiving from my job? And so forth. So that first part of Du'uhu Biha is, when you ask the one who can give. Because everyone else, and every time we'll add ayahs about this, the Quran goes in details about how nothing else has the power. If do they have hands to hold with? Do they have eye to see with? So only ask from the who has the power. So come back now. Invoke, call upon, has other meanings. Now, Maryam, can you time us? We are just going to ask you, the three of you, to write down, what do you think the word invoke means? Because we said one part is ask, but there is more into invoke. So what else comes to you with the word invoke?
Australia, we have, mashallah, 7 more participants.
So I don't see the rest. So can you, so guys, say, can you please, Timomi, Aslam, Rima, Nada, Maha, can you all just write in what else you think فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا means? Maryam is timing us. And feel free to keep your cameras on. We love to see your beautiful faces. We miss seeing everyone's face. Okay. So who would volunteer to read the entries?
I can read. Inshallah.
Go ahead.
So Sister Nada said to feel, and Sister Rima said concentrate and be aware of him. We're still waiting for it.
So we said the word invoke, فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا in Arabic has many meanings. Even in English, it has several meanings as well. The part that we like, we know about it, more familiar with, is to ask with it. Like, if I am sick, I'm going to ask the Shafi to heal me. If I am hungry, I'm going to ask the Mut'im to give me food. But that's not all of it. And if this is the formula that we need to follow, so we're trying to understand the second part. Any other?
Sister Tumomi said to feel closer to him.
To get closer to him. Okay, so now let's see what else do we have with the meaning. So going back to like the literal meanings of the word, we will find that, other meanings of invoke is to be like a witness. And if you go to the Arabic, other meanings is to invite, to encourage a belief, to lead to correlate with, to give a name to claim, to ask for one's right in a matter, to recognize as, to witness as, to join. So all of that part of recognizing, witnessing is the hard work part. Like that is the part that we are coming here together to try to do, because once that becomes our hal, then inshallah we'll be able to not only ask, but to witness and recognize God with these beautiful attributes. So now we're going to say again the question, how would I witness? Okay, to ask, I know how to ask, but how would I witness? What does witness actually mean? So last time we went through that concept of read in details, and I'm just going to remind you of it. So we went through how it was such an important concept that it was the first decree that came to us to read. And the guidelines for reading was to read in the name of our Rabb who created. So this formula was the formula that we ended up with, is to read with the lenses of a creator who is a Rabb. And once there is a Rabb, then what is the other side of the Rabb? There is Abd. And so God says, read in the name, Iqra bisma Rabbik. Rabb is the dignifying, sustaining host. And the ka at the end is your. So read in the name of your Rabb. So the equation is to read everything as receiving it from a dignifying, sustaining host, the Rabb, and coming to me directly as an honored, dependent guest. So when there is only one Rabb who knows all your needs and providing them, and makes sure that you're dignified throughout the whole process, then you, in being dependent on that one Rabb who knows your needs, who created you, who elevated you, like we spoke last time, how did God create us with his own hands, elevated us over the angels, asked them to bow to us, subserve things to us, then me depending on him alone is an honor. It is not to serve, it is I'm being honored by this correlation. I'm being honored as a dependent, so that dependent, that humble dependent is being honored, which is a very interesting relationship. Throughout the Quran, God is saying, if we keep that relationship We'll always be honor-dependent guests. But if we look for sustenance or our needs, our provision from any source rather than our Rabb, then we will be non-dignified, we'll be humiliated, we'll be like all negative attributes then will come into there. And then the reading is a very interesting reading, because creation is, how would I read creation? So then God in another area, he tells us, read creation outside and correlate it to what's happening inside. So there's an outside part of creation and inside. When I read it outside, you're just in awe, like, wow, that's so beautiful. That is so amazing. The galaxy is so amazing. Wow, like the word wow and awe is like all, you know, what's in it. Scientists are in the same wow and awe situation. Everyone who's like, you know, who even doesn't believe in a divinity, in a divine creator, they are in awe of the creation. But the key that God gave us in the Quran is to read creation as it correlates to me, inside me. What is it doing to me? Like the creation is created by the creator, subserved to serve me. It has been here for me. Once we read everything that way, then the relationship between us and our creator changes. And as we do it, it's interesting, the choice of the words. سنريهم آياتنا, we will show them our signs, في الآفاق, outside, وفي أنفسهم, and inside. And look at the choice, حتى. حتى in Arabic is a process. Until, like, you know, so here it's translated so that, it's not so that. In Arabic, حتى is like until. Like you keep seeing it and seeing it and seeing it and seeing it until you realize it is the truth. But if you don't look for it and see it, you won't realize, you won't get to until. Like hatta means until. So, you know, or till the end of. أكلت السمك حتى رأسها. I ate the whole fish until, like, you know, until I finished up with the head. So you do it, all of it, till the end. So our role is to keep at it until it becomes clear to us that this is the truth. And to realize that God is the witness. He is the one that is witnessing our attempts, putting everything there as a witness for him. So he put everything out there to witness, as a witness for him. And he's also witnessing our attempts in doing this. So what does that mean? It means in simple things like whether it's water, instead of being in awe of like how amazing does water go into every living being, how amazing is, like, you know, this earth is created with most of its surface being water, how amazing is our body, you know, mainly water, how amazing does the water bring in all those nutrients in and out, and how amazing does the water crystals have unique shapes, how amazing is the water crystals respond to positive versus negative, like, you know, speech or Quranic recitation versus something angry. That is the awe part. But we only build our فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا once we connect it to us. Say, Subhanallah, who knew my needs, who created me with a need, a thirst that makes me go to this water. Subhanallah, who made this water something that any of us would drink, no color, no smell. So all of us who have certain preferences, we won't be distracted from it. So easygoing. Subhanallah, that made drinking water an enjoyable process. It's something that my body needs, but it's so enjoyable for me to do. Subhanallah, that this water comes into my body and meets every need into my body. Subhanallah, this simple water goes in my body and helps cleanse my body from toxins that go so easily into my urine, out of my body. So every time you're drinking water, it becomes your meditation time. Every time you look at water and you invoke this connection between the outside water and the inside me. So the outside is a creator who created with abundance and compassion and mercy and generosity and dignity water for you, the humble, dependent, but honored guest, to receive it because it's your need. That, and just sitting with that, is our فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. And you can apply that to anything. You can apply it to food. How many varieties are food out there? Instead of just getting stuck on I eat organic, I only get healthy food. So everyone is amazed about look at this food now. There's a lot of research on food. This food gives antioxidant. This food boosts your immunity. This food gives your need of protein. This vegetable. People are in awe of all of these foods. But for us, isn't that amazing that God has created endless varieties of food for my enjoyment? Endless varieties of foods that go into endless combinations to make endless dishes that are amazing, meet everyone's taste. How easy is it? How pleasurable is it? It doesn't feel like, it's not something that you struggle to get. You actually, the more hungry you are, the more the taste of food you get. The more you taste, then the more you're gonna say, Subhanallah. If you look at the beauty of the food, you're saying, look at the jameel, look at this, my Rabb who knows my need for beauty. Because everything could have been created with the same color and shape. But every time you look at your food, God says, spend time. Spend time connecting with me. فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. Spend time thinking of how the whole universe out there is needed to create each part of that food. Spend time in thinking how your body is created to take that food and use it in the best way and digest it in the best way and make use of every part of its nutrients. SubhanAllah, look into that food and see how it's medicine. Like how this food is meant to you as medicine. It's not just food, it's medicine. And be so thankful for God who made medicine so easy to consume. And with that equation of linking the outside to the inside, then we have added to that call upon, invoke that part of witness God, recognize him as. That is every time we're going to add part to that, what does فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا mean? So this part of recognize him, witness him as, is a crucial part. Because if we don't do that, we'll be focused on how amazing food is. Wow, water, it is it causes life. Life is dependent on water. Foods like this country produces the best coffee. I love that. You're so focused on the coffee. The best hazelnuts, funduk, is from Turkey. I'm focused on Turkey and the hazelnuts. The best mangoes, I'm focused on India and the mangoes. You lose that connection. And then because Allah is so gentle with us, he gives us in the Quran the reminder. He says in Surah Al-A'raf, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. And to God alone belongs all the beautiful names, all those attributes of perfection. فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. Call upon him, invoke him by them, see him, witness him in everything. And dharu, stay away from الَّذِينَ يُلْحِدُونَ فِي أَسْمَائِهِ. Stay away from those who deviate from the meaning, the purpose of his names, his attributes. Because what is the purpose of his names and his attributes? The purpose of his names and attributes is to make himself known to us. So if all of this creation, all of the beauty of creation, the abundance of the foods, the clarity and easiness of water, if all of that which has given to us to see him in it and to connect with him and know him and appreciate him and love him with it, if that is not done and I get so focused on that creation itself, I have swayed away from the purpose and the meaning of all of these names and attributes that are given to us. And then God saying, سَيُجْزَوْنَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. What they have done by deviating, they will be accountable for. They actually will reap the consequences. So maybe instead of the word accountable, they reap the consequences. Because if I'm so focused on food as being my source of everything, then maybe one day when I cannot eat any food or digest it, that will be the end of the world for me. If I'm so focused on seeing beauty out there, if I lose my sight, then that's the end of the world for me. But if I realize that the creator of beauty is my Rabb, he will give me beauty through different ways. The creator of abundance is my Rabb. So even when one part is taken, I know my Rabb is always there. Like if we focus on transient, then we will reap the consequences of focusing on transient, just like Adam and Hawa. When they focused on the transient apple as the source of permanence, they reaped the consequence of it. So Allah is saying, I am the only permanent. I am the dignifying, sustaining, providing Rabb. So keep your focus there and don't deviate, because if you deviate, you will reap the consequences. And reaping the consequences means a lot of suffering right here and now. So we go now to the simple formula of Rabb and Abd. This simple formula is something that we are asked through the Quran to apply to every situation and everything. The Rabb is the giver. We as Abd are receivers. We're not servants, we're not slaves. We are honored, dependent guests. The translation of the word Abd is a huge block for a lot of people, because the word servant is very negative and we don't serve God. We are receiving from God. The word slave is a very negative word, and it is not true, because we only, like, people are not enslaved. We are receiving. A slave is someone who is abused, totally abused, and given nothing. We are given everything and we are totally honored. That simple understanding of our Rabb as a dignifying, sustaining host, and us as a Abd, as an honored, dependent guest, is really important. In Arabic, we would said that before. The word Abd, which is honored, dependent guest, when it's made plural, it becomes Ibad. Ibad al-Rahman. We are the honored, dependent guests of Rahman. But the word slave in Arabic, which is also Abd, when becomes plural, becomes Abid. Abid al-Mal, slaves of money. The difference between Ibad, Abd is the same word, like the single, but Abd, as honored, dependent guests, plural becomes Ibad. Abd as a slave to something, plural becomes Abid. And it's very negative. Abid al-Mal, Abid al-Gah. People who enslave, look at it, they enslave themselves to money. They enslave themselves to power. While God frees you from all of that by saying, I am the one dignifying, sustaining source. You don't need to enslave yourself to anything else, because you are my honored, dependent guest, and I am taking care of you. I have created Earth in billions of years. It took billions of years to create Earth to receive you. This journey of the creation of Earth was meant totally for you. You came at the last second of the last minute of the last hour of that creation, if creation happened in 24 hours. You came to be the honored guest who reaps all of the benefits of this beautiful creation. So enslavement is something that we do to ourselves. It's very interesting that when Islam came, it came to a community that had slaves. Those slaves were enslaved in body, but Islam totally freed their soul. So the concept of enslaving and freeing is an amazing concept, that you could be enslaved in body, but if you know that you have one dignifying, giving Rabb that treats you and created the whole world for you to honor you as a dependent guest, then you will not be enslaved in soul. Unfortunately, as time has moved, we have become free in our bodies, but we have enslaved our souls to wrong ideologies, to what people tell us. Someone comes and said, this is where you stand in society, you are nothing. I believe them. My God says, you are a dignified guest. I have created the earth in billions of years for you. I have given you everything. I created with my hands. I made the angels bow for you. And I don't take what God gives me as my Rabb of my value, and I look to someone who does not even know his own value, and I take my value from him. And then what did God say in the ayah that we just read? You will reap the consequence of doing that. What is the consequence? It is so much torture, so much pain, because no one wants to live as an enslaved, humiliated being. We all are created with a need to be dignified, to need to be honored. And again, God in the Quran says, I am honoring you by being one Rabb who takes care of everything. Don't you see that? Everything that serves you cannot have different Rabbs. For this to serve you, both of us have to be under the same Rabb. For water to serve me, it has to be under the same Rabb. For the food to serve me, it has to be the same Rabb. For anything to serve me, we all have to be there by the same Rabb. So this is a little bit detailed, but the formula comes again. We have a giver and we are receivers. There is one giver and everything is receiving. The trees are receiving like us. The grass is receiving like us, the animals, the birds, all human beings. No human being, look at what the slaves, the Muslim slaves, when they realize that they are free in soul, have one Rabb, their body was enslaved, but they realized me and the one who owns my body, we are equal. There's no difference because we are both dependent in our breath, in our heartbeat, in everything on that same Rabb. He has physical power over me, but he has no power over my soul. We are, and God tells us that we are souls. We are souls that God has blew into us that is placed in a body. We are not a body with a soul. No, we are a soul put into a body. Our dignity comes from that soul part. If we stop thinking of ourselves as souls receiving, then we have made ourselves into material, transient bodies that live for a short while and are done, dependent on everything in the universe. But God says the concept of Rabb that we're going through is a concept of a giver and you are a receiver, a dignifying, sustaining host who gives to an honored, dependent guest. And that giver is providing, is caring, is powerful, is owning, is generous, is compassionate, is planning, is guiding. So sometimes he gives you more or gives you less because he knows that you need that guidance. If he gives you too much, you will go off. So then he is giving you less. If he raises you so much, sometimes he takes you a tad down. Why? Because if you keep going up, then you will go up. So he needs to, so that's why in the names of God, we have Al-Khafid Al-Rafi', the one who takes you a bit down to take you up. The one who gives you less to give you more, so that you know him, like with the contrast of day and night. It's all because it's planned guidance for your benefit. It's no punishment. There's no concept of punishment. That concept does not exist. Punishment is in the day of judgment. It's God's hands. But on this journey, we are here to connect. How do we connect? That's when we get the universe and us together. We connect through our needs. We connect every time we received as an honor dependent guest, we are connecting. How do I receive if I don't need? If I am not hungry and the best food banquet is out there, it won't mean anything to me. Only when I'm in need of food, I taste and appreciate the food in front of me. So when I connect my needs with who's giving my needs, that's when I connect. So that's why I am created with those endless needs. A lot of needs. I need food, I need sustenance, I need to breathe, I need to sleep, I need friends, I need like a community, I need to be loved, I need to be valued. All these are needs. And one of the biggest needs is I need meaning. I don't like things to be meaningless. And this universe has been created to give me that meaning, that this universe has a creator, that creator is eternal, because one of my basic needs also is a need for eternity. I don't like things to go away. I don't like the flowers when they go away. I don't like my loved ones to go away. I don't like things to end. I don't like my youth to end. I don't like my health to end. All those needs are telling me that when they were there, they were given by the giver of those needs. When they were not there, they're not given anymore. It's to make you realize it's not the health that was doing this. It was not the good food that was doing this. It was not the healthy practices of of someone that made their life healthier. There is a giver behind it, and to make us realize this life is transient. To make us go back and realize, watch out, don't think this life is eternal. This life is just to give you an understanding, ادعوه بها, a connection to your Rabb, to who he is. And the more you do that, the more your life has meaning, the more you're connected through your soul to the eternity and to the meaning that your soul needs. So we are asked to take every opportunity to reflect and witness. Every time we drink, we eat, we breathe, we weed. Maryam and Sister Ziba and Sister Maryam, they have had we've had monthly events where each of them was saying through a meaningful activity or through the stories of the Quran, how can we use breathing to reflect? How can we use eating to reflect? How can we use sleeping to connect? How can we use weeding? The last thing that we did this Saturday was weeding. How does weeding remind us of our connection with God? So basically, we're created with ongoing learning opportunities that makes us, if we invoke the names of God, we'll connect and realize who is the Rabb, who is the Abd, and from there, we will start to fulfill that part. Okay, now I know we went way over time, but a quick question that we'll get one last minute from you, Maryam. Can you write down throughout last week, and we'll ask this every time before we leave, and a time where you have invoked the name of Allah-Rabb, and what have you witnessed? So I'm gonna move through all of these, and I'm gonna come to the question. Yeah, okay, 1 minute. Maryam, time us. And we'll keep asking ourselves that, because we're here for this. We are here to do this. This is our homework. This is the hard part. Understanding the names of God and memorizing them is the easy part. But bringing them into our life in every situation, that is what the Prophet ﷺ said when they returned back from a battlefield. We have came back from the smaller battlefield jihad to the greater jihad, which is within ourselves, like to make ourselves see our Rabb in every situation. That is a big struggle. And that struggle only makes us better. And that's why we want to do this. That's why we're meeting. We want to see God in every minute. Okay. So, examples.
I don't know if you heard 1 minute is up.
Okay, I think I talked through the minutes. So does anyone want to share the examples? Anything written down, Mariam?
I don't see anything written, but I can share my.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know if Nadia edited now. When I'm sick,
I just did.
email me by calling him healer.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nadia.
Yeah.
So my example was about my gardening. We had to put new grass because the old one died. It's a sod. And when you add it, you have to water it 2 or 3 times a day for up to a week. And if it is even hotter, then you need to water it a few weeks long. But last week I was so busy, and we just put the sod on, we watered it the first day, and we did it the second day. But the third day I was so tired and I had so much things to do. And then it started raining.
Oh.
When it started raining, I looked outside and I could see that Allah is taking care of the watering for me so that I could go have a rest or, finish my work. And the rain lasted 4 days and I was so grateful. And I felt so loved.
Yeah.
And he was taking care of it. I didn't have to water it. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
So you could have, if Mariam lost this opportunity to see the rain as a gift for her, with the compassionate one who's saying, Mariam, you are tired, I'm taking care of you, like you don't need to water, I'm doing it. And as I'm providing water for all of creation, I'm doing it for your plants, for your grass. Take the time to rest. Every time she sees the water coming down, she's in like, Alhamdulillah. And she feels like, she said, I felt loved. Like, but if she's just so, by chance, water comes down, it's like, yeah, but it's gonna stop water and I'm gonna go back again to watering myself. Like, you're torturing yourself. Like, it's like, yeah, this happened, but tomorrow it won't happen again and I'll go to do it again. It's my burden. But then when you do this, you're gonna taste and enjoy being the guest. And after that, you'll get used to enjoying being the guest. You'll get used to being happy about everything that's happening for you. Thank you, Mariam. That was so beautiful. Who else? Can we get 2 more?
I can share 2 days back, like when we met in the evening, I started having pain in my back, and it was like a little bit more, like the pain was not like tolerable, it was a little bit more intensity. So, and we had met the same day, and I was thinking like, what is this pain telling me? And I started this, I settled down in the bed, and then I just started talking to Allah. And I know that I said, this is my time for one-on-one time. And so I just said, you are the healer. And I know you are the healer. And I just kept saying this and slept. And subhanallah, morning when I woke up, I didn't even feel a bit of, like, there was not slightest bit, like it was as if it never existed, So subhanallah, so I was saying in the morning, now I witness that you are the one who heals, and you have made this night and day and the changes, like, so we can take rest and sleep and get better, and that's the healing time for the body. So everything is planned for us, to benefit from us. So that was my calling on the caretaker, the Rabb, the beneficiary. Yeah.
MashaAllah, so because otherwise it will be, I have pain and I keep having pain and pain keeps coming back and it's so unfair. But then, you when you go the other way, it's like, yes, the night has been done for me for rest. Calling on the healer, he's always given me healing. I don't know even how my body gets rid of the toxins like in it, like, urine takes out the toxins, like, stools take out toxins, sweat takes out toxins. There's healing that's happening all the time. I just, like, this pain is reminding me of like, now I need to concentrate and be thankful. Now I need to concentrate and witness, but it's what's happening all the time. And then you wake up with this, like, I'm loved, I'm taken care of. So again, it's your choice. Quran comes to make you live as an honored, dignified guest, receiving endless bounties for someone who knows your need and owns heavens and earth. You can accept this vision, this teaching of the Quran, or you can torture yourself, basically. We need one more so we can say salam alaikum to everyone. So anyone wants to share one more sharing? To Momi? Do you have a sharing?
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Like after this coronavirus and started, all the gatherings closed, and I moved here 2 years ago, and on top of not having any close friend here, I mean, still I had gatherings I could go, Japanese community and little Muslim communities, but now because I haven't been here for a long time, it's just all shut down. So I felt very, very lonely, really. And that time this meeting came up on the Zoom, and so alhamdulillah, that time I really called on Allah, say I feel very lonely. What can I do? So alhamdulillah, I feel very, I mean, this is very great opportunity to unite with having beautiful sisters.
We love having you, Tumomi. Thank you so much. But look how beautiful it is, Tumomi, because you could have seen this totally unrelated, but when you call upon God, and that's the secret of calling. If you see a need in you and you say, I need company, and then when it comes, you say, yes, I called, I asked my Rabb, and I'm getting it. But if you never call on your Rabb, when it happens, like, came out of the blue, by accident, what a good chance, like by chance. So again, the calling upon, like, is important to witness, because when you call upon, you say, I have a need. And once you say, I have a need, then you realize this needs to be fulfilled. And you're looking, where is it going to be fulfilled? How is it going to be fulfilled? Like you believe it's going to be fulfilled, but you're curious. How is it going to be fulfilled? Which way? This way. What a beautiful way. You want to make the dua?
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdinas siratal mustaqim, siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim, ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. Oh Allah, we thank you and praise you, and only you are our Rabb, you are our sustainer, you are our caretaker, and we only ask you, and every need that you give us, let us be mindful of that need to connect to you and to invoke you through our need, and to witness you whenever our needs are fulfilled or not fulfilled, because you know what is best for us. So in that need also, there's an opening to connect to you, and as long as we are connected, it doesn't matter that need is answered right away or not. So that's just keep us on the path where we stay connected to you, and may we enjoy each other's company here, and we thank you for this blessing, and we thank you for bringing us together on this forum, and may we see you and be connected to you always. Ameen.
Our goal, destination Jannah, inshallah, destination Jannah. We need to put it at the first slide. Destination Jannah on earth. Jannah is on earth. It's not just there, it's here. Destination
Inshallah.
Jannah here, inshallah.
Inshallah.